Well, we have arrived to the very last week of our 7 weeks of counting of the Omer. So we are in the last attribute of Malchut, and we are in the first attribute flowing into the last one, Chesed of Malchut, day 43, loving kindness in nobility. So we are all special in our own right. We want to connect to that specialness. We want to acknowledge that specialness. We've spoken a lot over the last 6 weeks about the divinity that we have within our own being and how we manifest majesty or malchut in our relationships. So on this last final week of our 7-week count, malchut is at the core. It's at the foundation. All of the other attributes, they're going to weave in and out, bringing us to our final place on our very last day, Malchut of Malchut, on the 49th day of our count. So today, day 43, so after this, 6 more days, Chesed of Malchut, loving kindness in nobility. In order to manifest the highest and best in our relationships, we need to truly be open to love. So today we're going to take a look at our ability to love in a way that actually reflects the majestic within each and every one of us. So the first thing that we want to do is be selfless. Do for others as you would have them do for you. So we want to give and take and treat others with the respect and the love and the dignity as we would so like to be treated in return. So we want to be genuine in our feelings towards another person or other people and the expressions of love that we share. So Royce Witt said, when no one is selfless, now remember, we're talking about being selfless. When no one is selfless in a relationship, there is a war. When one is selfless, there is peace. When both are selfless, there's joy. So to have joy in our relationships and peaceful coexistence that resonates the sovereignty of Malchut, we need to practice giving completely without any thought of gain, doing and giving for its own sake, loving for its own sake, learning to find pleasure in what we actually bring to others when we're expressing our love for them. But first, we have to love ourselves. We've spoken a lot about respecting ourselves, but self-love is an integral part of sharing our best with others and elevating each other with the connection that we then share. Lucille Ball once said, love yourself first, and everything else will fall into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world. We all have our individual brokenness. Pieces we hold back from view, things that we need to fix. We need to separate the things we need to work on to evolve our soul from the things that we have inside, our feelings of negativity or self-worth and self-love. We want to separate our self-love away from the things that we actually know that we need to work on and not let them get confused, because we're all works in progress. The goal is to do the work on ourselves so that we have more to share with others. And that's what we're doing during this whole time of the 7 weeks and the 49 days of counting. We need to love ourselves enough to be the very best that we could be in order to share our best with others. If, however, we are filled with self-loathing, it's challenging at best to create rewarding relationships that are going to be filled with the attribute of Malchut, divinity, majesty, glory. Rumi once said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. We all need to work to break down the barriers that are blocking us from loving ourselves, blocking us from loving others with all of our being. When we can be open vessels channeling love and light, we radiate divinity in all of our relations. And then we want to love unconditionally. To love and be loved unconditionally fills the soul with great delight, and that is Chesed of Malchut flowing at its best. When we can love without judgment, love in spite of what someone has said or done, being able to work with them to achieve understanding and a greater connection, that's when our love has no limits. anything is possible because we're being open-minded, open-hearted, coming from a place of purity and true chesed, loving kindness. It's been said that unconditional love is loving someone beyond their limits and yours. It's hard to compete with unconditional love. Unconditional love is when somebody hurts you, but because you care about that person so much, you choose not to hurt them in return. So we have to remember that that takes mindfulness and that takes choice. There's no scorecard, no running commentary in your heart or in your mind against the other person. What there is instead is a willingness to grow, a willingness to love and share to each other's greatest ability and beyond. There's a saying, find someone who is proud to have you, scared to lose you, fights for you, appreciates you, respects you, cares for you, and most importantly, loves you unconditionally. So think about the relationships that you have where you feel loved unconditionally and when you know that you're giving love unconditionally. And maybe if you don't have those relationships, then take a really good, serious, long look at it over the course of this next day. When we have love in our hearts, not just for our partners, for ourselves unconditionally, we lift our entire humanity up one person at a time. And then we want to create security in love. When we feel secure, we are most able to stretch and grow. Feelings of insecurity propagate negativity in relationships, filled with jealousy, aggression, mistrust, and even more. When we are first secure in ourselves, we can afford others a sense of security as well. We can then create a feeling of safe harbor, the knowledge that another is capable to be fully there for you because they are coming from a place of strength and vice versa. The love and the commitment that is shared has a foundation of chesed in Malchut, loving kindness in nobility, because each person is secure in their own right and able to then give completely. And then we want to have hope in our hearts. Barack Obama is saying, it has been quoted as saying, the best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and you make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. When we have divinity in our hearts and underlying our actions, we can uplift even the most broken soul. Loving others with chesed and malchut, we recognize the divinity within everyone. Even in our darkest moments, if we can pull ourselves up, pull ourselves together enough to actually help somebody else, we will feel better. Getting outside of ourselves to help or love another then reflects back upon us. When we do this without any thought of gain or reward, the energy that we create will soothe even the deepest of hurts and fuel us with renewed energy and hope. Maya Angelou once said, when we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everybody is blessed. And that is what today is about, day 43, Chesed of Malchut, loving kindness in nobility. So tune in tomorrow for Gevurah of Malchut, where we explore discipline and justice in our Malchut. See you then.